Two church-going couples enjoying small-town family life in Texas until somebody picks up an axe. That's quite a logline, and believe it or not, the new HBO Max series called Love and Death is based on a tragic true story. And with us today are the stars and creators of the show. Please welcome Elizabeth Olsen, Jesse Plemons, Lily Rabe, Patrick Fugit, and Lesli Linka Glatter. Thank you all for joining us. Well, that's all the time we have for this video.
It's thrilled to be here.
Yeah.
That was great.
Appreciate you all being here. It's the first time you're doing an interview as a crew.
Yeah.
The Avengers have assembled. Thank you so much. You guys have done Love and Death. It's the new iteration of this story that has been mined before, right? Jessica Biel was in Candy. The writer of that series is actually very excited for this show. And Lesli, I read it. It has to be true. It's on the internet. Lesli, what is it about this particular story that keeps creatives going back to the well? Why is it so rich?
That's a great question. I think this story is about men and women of that particular time that they did everything right. You know, they got married at 20, they had the 2 kids, they had the house in the suburbs. And why is it that there's a hole in their heart and psyche that's a mile wide? You know, and how do you fill that? And if you're not looking at it, you know, obviously Candy makes a bad choice with how to fill that. But that, to me, psychologically, is what's so intriguing about this. And that it was normal people.
Community,
But I have to tell you,
go for it.
We were filming when they went into when they were greenlit. So, yes, we kind of followed in terms of airing, but not in terms of
You were
the
first.
project.
You were first.
Well, we were filming.
We were.
There's 2 more
It did happen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. There's going to be a play.
Yeah.
There's going.
One of them is just called Pat with an exclamation mark.
Exactly.
The
It's going to
musical.
be
It's all
a focus
About
on you.
lawn mowing and short
Yeah.
And so when you have that, you know, Lizzie, you told me to call you Lizzie. Can I call you Lizzie?
Yeah.
All right. So you're playing Candy Montgomery,
Yeah.
and you have the knowledge that, other actors have played this. There's other productions while this is happening. And I'm playing a real life person, right? How do you, as an actor, put your own footprint and like fingerprints on a role and zone it out that it's, you know what, other people have their own interpretations, but this is going to be my interpretation of Candy?
Well, I don't really think I mean, first off, when I was prepping, I didn't know there was going to be another production. There wasn't one. So I didn't have to worry about that. And the last production for this story was decades ago. And so I don't, it's like when you do a play, plays are done all the time, over and over and over again. You don't need to pay attention to how someone else interpreted things unless it was something that you want to pay homage to but for this, we have some information that are letters, that are facts. We have some images, and actually this book, Evidence of Love, is really helpful because it's the only thing that Candy participated in. She didn't participate in any interviews. She didn't participate in anything besides this book. And so that was kind of my resource, and I didn't have audio to go off of, so you just kind of make decisions based on the location, the background, the time, as you would approach any character. But it's nice to have something to start with that's factual for me, instead of making it all up.
And with this particular character, who's a real-life person, Candy Montgomery, right? Average Jane, living in Texas, church-going family, everything's going normal, and then one day picks up an axe and kills her friend.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, that's your interpretation. Clearly haven't got to that part of our show yet.
Well, frenemy, I should say. Strikes her 41 times. 41
Yes,
times.
that did
Admits
happen.
it.
Yeah.
Does not get convicted. And doesn't have horns on her
You're
head.
really bearing the lead here. Jesus.
Really.
Look, I've heard, apparently, allegedly. But, it's one of the situations, she doesn't have horns on her head. She's just an average person. And when you, research it and you play this character and you emerge from it, how do you view Candy Montgomery? With sympathy, with empathy, with judgment?
Well, I would never judge a character I play, but that's just me. But you think of the circumstances. You think of the circumstances that led people to that point. You think of their upbringing. You think of their dreams and their wishes, and the resources that they have at the moment these things occur that are that seem pretty absurd. And I think the reason why this show particularly was really interesting to me is because it's a true story, and tonally it's small town people dealing with larger than life absurd circumstances. And to me, that makes for interesting storytelling. And so that was really my focus, not so much judgment on a person's actions, but more trying, I mean, also like, what good does it do a society to just judge people's actions without trying to understand the impetus? So, no, I never go in with judgment, but lots of empathy. She was a real dreamer, a real optimist, a real doer. And so, and a fabulous cook.
Fabulous cook.
You know, this is going to be a compliment. When I was watching the show, it reminded me of Blue Velvet in a way, the David Lynch movie, where on the outside, oh, you gave a knowing look, maybe something there.
My first job,
Oh.
my first series was Twin Peaks.
And see, I did not know that. That was just me atop of the dome. But
There's
it's just
a similarity.
it's the veneer of a perfect American
Exactly.
dream, suburban, idyllic, and underneath, just underneath, there's this rage brewing in every single person. And you have said, Leslie, that this is the dark side of the American dream. And Jesse, I want to bring you into the conversation. I'm going to get both of you guys in. You're hovering, but I got you. You're not on the couch, but I got you. You play characters oftentimes where someone looks at you and goes, okay, that's an average Joe in America, but just underneath, there's a storm. And this is a compliment, by the way. And you play that really well. And in this particular story, when Leslie says this is the dark side of the American dream, what's your comment on that, especially when it comes to these characters?
Well, I don't know. It seems like the American dream is kind of something created, and it's kind of an illusion, and it's something that isn't really tangible, maybe. I mean, it's an idea, you know? And yeah, the dark side of it, I guess it's what Leslie said, you know, there is that dream for most people to check the boxes, you know, get a good job, have a family, you know, A, B, C, D, but that doesn't guarantee fulfillment or anything like that. So I guess, to me, what was interesting is, and really all four of the characters, there's something that is bubbling up.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you don't acknowledge that, and again, at the time, there wasn't, you know, counseling wasn't something that was really an option. And
No
so,
one talked about mental health, self-care.
so these things rear their head one way or another, you know.
And you see in the first episode, without giving too much away, that each character, on the outside, everything should be perfect. And each character has just something bubbling. And your character, Lily, you would think, oh, happily married, everything's going well, but internally inside the home, there's tension. And you're playing a character who is no longer with us. And I'm really curious about the ethical decisions you make as an actor, right? I'm representing a person. That person has a community. That person has a family. That person's no longer there. I have to honor that person. But then I also have to put my own artistic interpretation on it. How do you go into this role with all of that baggage and that history?
Well, you have to trust your director, and you have to trust your writer. You really have to, I think, when you're telling a story that is true and based on you always need to do that, but especially so, it does sort of raise the stakes in wanting to, because you have to, you can't as an actor, or I can't go in feeling like I have to take care of all of that, because I think I will then lose my own sort of honest path in playing the person that I'm playing and telling the story that I'm helping to tell. So you, in terms of protecting the integrity and taking care of these characters, you do have to really lean on the people around you. And I do think something that that I was so moved by with the scripts is, this is not a story about bad relationships or bad decisions. The relationships are good. These are not bad marriages. and toxic
And they're not bad people
friendships.
either.
They're not bad people. There are missteps, but we're always making these missteps, and we're sort of the stakes are very high in this what happens in this particular story. But I think the nuance of what everyone in these relationships, not just the romantic relationships, but the friendships between the characters, the steps that everyone is taking, we are trying to do the right thing. We are trying to take care of one another and figure out how to be with another person and also have an identity. And as a woman, it's very complicated always, but at that time, especially in, but to me, there is a great kind of positivity in the intention of the character.
Because it's a slow burn, it's an escalation, everything's intertwined, no one wants to hurt anyone.
No, exactly.
And things happen.
And there's a lot of love between everyone.
And again, you sit there and you watch the show and you're like, oh, this was based on a true story. They're not making this up. This actually happened, and this happens. And Patrick, you're not a Texan. I know we have two Texans here. We're going to get to a Texas question. We have a Texas crew. But the authenticity was great in this show. The accents, the community, the singing, the choir voice. How did you research this particular role and your character, who, again, was based on a real person?
Yeah, for me, getting into any of that, sometimes for me it will create like a difference in opinion of who the man was, you know, who he is in reality, and then David and Leslie's interpretation of that artistically. And they're such high level creatives that I don't, I didn't feel like it was something I needed to dive into. Like, they put it all on the page, and really if I take a look at Pat as a character, there's a lot of sounding board he is for Lizzie's character, and a frame of reference for her. And so to me, it's really more about like playing a supporting role and complementing what Lizzie's doing, rather than trying to figure out how realistic my impression or impersonation is.
But that's very self-effacing and humble of you. I appreciate that. But I mean, it's an integral part, because watching it, each person, each character depends upon each other, and the interactions that happen lead to things in the show.
Yes.
And Leslie, when you're bringing these characters,
I just have to say to Patrick,
You're a scene stealer. What the heck? You're being so humble. He stole every moment.
Patrick put those glasses on, and I saw Pat Montgomery.
Yeah. He transformed.
Forget about the velour shirts and the shorts,
And the
which I'm
slack
fond
top.
of. But
Yeah, that was my favorite part.
so there
Yeah,
was
you didn't mention the
interesting.
picture.
Yeah,
please,
you did
please.
go off picture.
That was that. I did take that. The wardrobe showed me a picture. I was like, "That's my guy." I don't need anything else.
because even the physical transformation, you're rocking a good beard. I got your beard game. I give you a hands off to that one, and then you got the beanie. But like, you put on those glasses, and
Oh my God!
you're there. And you're
There's like a glaze that would happen.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is.
we need you to be a little bit more egotistical today, please. But you got this fantastic crew.
Yes,
You got
I
this
have
fantastic
a dream
family.
team here. Look at who I'm sitting with. I'm like blessed.
And every day it's like when you do theater, and you have such an intimate a family, you're creating a family. How was it like rehearsals to get all these characters to come together, to love each other, knowing full well that the end is tragic? What were the daily rehearsals
Well, the
like?
important thing is you can't play the end. You have to play the moment you're in. But what we did do in terms of scheduling, which I think really helped, was we started with creating the environment. So it was all the scenes in the church with them as a very strong community. And, the first 3 episodes, there's a lot of humor, never laughing at the characters. I think we all fell in love with these characters, and have a huge empathy. But there are circumstances that are very funny, and we took that. We optioned the rights to the 2 Texas Monthly stories as well as the book Evidence of Love, and a lot of that came out of the description of where people were, and what was happening. Like, we didn't make up how long it took for them to discuss Jesse and Lizzie having an affair. We didn't make that up. That
I
is
mean,
the
it's,
truth.
it's like quirky, deadpan humor. You have to laugh at it. And just without giving it,
Yes.
the courtship itself is just so matter of fact and
Right.
hilarious.
Yeah, hilarious, but it's true. Like, we copied the list that they made. That was from the book. It was the actual list that these two people wrote to protect their world. So, I think the reality of the connection came from the fact we were shooting all those scenes at the church, outside, at the picnic, and this cast actually ate. Like, usually actors, they'll take one lettuce leaf. Everyone is, it was so
You're in Texas.
amazing.
You got to eat.
We're in
You got to
great.
eat. Speaking about Texas, we're in Texas right now. We're at South by Southwest. I got a Texan crew. I got Texan researchers. I got to ask this question. Texas Monthly. This show is based off the Texas Monthly article. Texas Monthly's crushing it right now.
They
has
are.
a deal with HBO Max. Researchers, investigators, reporters coming out with fantastic stories. Jesse, you're a Texan. What is it about Texas, sir, that is a rich field of amazing true crime stories that just keeps on giving?
I don't know. What is it, Leslie?
We got that Texans here. Two Texans. Nice little pass.
I have not committed a crime ever. So, no, I think there's, obviously there's, I think there's something about Texas, it's like big sky, big possibility, Things, I grew up here thinking things are not what they appear to be. You have to look deeper to see what's really going on. So what's on the surface, and that's what I love about our character, this show, are not what's going on underneath.
Big hopes, big dreams, big disappointments.
Big disappointments, big everything. Big stakes, big servings, big life. So that, I don't know if that's a breeding ground for interesting characters, straight, complicated behavior,
But it's a
Does that
rich,
make
it's a rich
sense,
mind
Jesse?
field.
Yeah.
It makes a
Did
lot
I
of sense.
No.
It makes a
kind
lot
of
of sense.
bullshit that.
No, that was
Totally just
non-bullshit, on point. I have 2 minutes. I'm going to get this done. A question for each person. I'm going to give you a compliment, Jesse. This came from our boss lady here. Jenny, she said this 2 days ago. When I see Jesse Plemons, I see the next Philip Seymour Hoffman. Your response to that compliment?
That's very nice, but I don't know about all that.
She also said yesterday, watch out, he's going to blow up, he's going to be a bigger star. So that's a compliment from our head producer. Lizzie, I have a 6-year-old, loves Scarlet Witch. I have to ask this question. Are we going to see more Scarlet Witch?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, I don't know, but yeah.
And, all right, I'll take it. And you were trending. You were
No,
trending
but yeah.
2 days ago on Twitter. Thank God for
Why?
something. You were trending because people were so excited that you are presenting tomorrow at the Academy Awards.
That makes you trend just to
Pe-
show up?
It was one of the very few times that celebrities were trending for all the good reasons.
Oh,
People were
funny.
that excited. Can you tell people what you're actually presenting?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I've never done it before. I don't want to screw it up now.
All right, okay. But you told me. Lily, you are the daughter of the fantastic actress Jill Clayburgh, Academy Award nominated actress whose last role I believe was in Bridesmaid. She was hilarious. What advice did she give you as an actor that you still hold on to this day?
Oh gosh, well that's a longer
I know.
chat. But live your life. Learn how to learn how to lean in hard when you're not working, so that the next time you work, you have more experiences to bring and more people in your life, and you've seen more things, and you've traveled to more places, and you've read more books, and don't sort of that time between jobs I think can feel like a sort of pause for actors sometimes, and her advice was to lean in hard to that.
Always listen to mom.
Beautiful. I got
Always
chills
listen to mom.
all over my body.
Patrick, I got you even though I'm out of time.
Yeah.
I'm an old head. I saw Almost Famous 20 years ago when I was in college. Great movie. Now it's seen as a classic. When people come up to you and they say, "You're from Almost Famous," do you own that? Do you have like pride in it? You're like, I've done other things as well. I'm in Love and Death and I've been crushing it lately. But that role, which is so iconic.
It's weird. That's what he said. Tapping my phone. What's
I
the deal?
know.
How do you respond to that iconic role and people just recognize you with so much love from that movie?
That movie kicked me off, and I've never had to do any other type of thing. Like, I bust tables with a buddy, but that was just like fun. I worked at Blockbuster, but I didn't have to do any of that, so I was very fortunate that gave me like a good good shot out of the gate, a lot of momentum, and I'm always grateful for that. I mean, I love that movie too, and it was shot on 35 mil when that was like the golden age of that medium, and you know, I love being a part of that thing, and so, you know, when people bring it up, it's a picture that makes me smile. So.
And your cast and crew love you and that you're a part of this show. Thank you all for doing this. I know this was your first ever interview. I hope it went well. Thank you for coming to South by Southwest. Thank you all for stopping by today. Congrats on the show. Love and Death premieres on HBO Max on April 27th. And for those of you in Austin, don't miss the Love and Death premiere at noon today, March 11th at the Paramount Theater. I'm your host, Fugit. Thanks for watching.